I'm Rochelle Riley, Director of Arts and Culture for the City of Detroit, and I am thrilled today to bring you a very special project that deals with something that I don't think we've dealt with enough, how our children are feeling. When the pandemic struck in 2020, families lost family, relatives lost relatives, children lost everything. They lost their ability to be in a stable classroom, they lost family, and they lost a sense of peace. So what we wanted to do was to find out whether we asked them enough, how are you feeling? How are you doing? So thanks to the Kresge Foundation, we did, and we did a special project called Duets that featured several amazing young people, and I'm so glad to have one of them with me here right now, King Bethel. He is a 17-year-old junior at Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, and you were one of the folks in this project. And the first thing I want to do is just go back to 2020 and ask, tell me what you were thinking when the pandemic hit.
Absolutely. When the pandemic hit, I honestly didn't believe it. I didn't believe we were going to be at home all day, every day, not going outside. But, it was also like we were, like, it was like we're finally in the present for me. Being in 2020, it was like I was finally thinking about the present instead of thinking about, oh, like thinking about the future all the time, because when you're always moving and when you're consistently moving and doing things, it's like you don't think about the present enough. And I feel like that's what the pandemic made us do. It made us think about the present and what was going on, how this situation can be solved. It made us work together as a community. And I feel like it was a terrible tragedy, of course, for billions of people around the world, but also made us unify as well.
Well, you mentioned together and togetherness. One of the things that we did with this was create some partnerships. You got to partner with some peers and you got to partner with some professionals. What was that like?
I mean, working with my peers it's always an adventure, because we're young, and it's like our minds are so creative and we have so many ideas, and it's always I always have a great time working with my peers, and then going on to work with professionals who play instruments. And like I never thought about incorporating a live instrumentation with one of my pieces, and to think about like a flute artist or a person who performs the flute to perform it with my piece. I would never think that. I would never think that in my life, just to perform it live. And the fact that you offered that opportunity, it opened up my mind a little more. And it was a great time. I had a great time.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the reasons you had that opportunity was because of the Kresge Foundation and Wendy Lewis Jackson, who believes strongly in this project. And we want to hear from her as she talked about why Kresge decided to do this.
Well, during the pandemic, we, in many ways, were surrounded by silence. And the importance of having young people elevate their voice, have greater agency through the arts. This was a perfect opportunity to do that through the Duets program and project. And so we wanted to look for a project that ensured that young people would have this opportunity during this time to elevate their voice, showcase their work, because we have so many creative young people here in the city of Detroit. This was a tremendous opportunity to showcase their work and pair them with some of our amazing institutions like the Detroit Symphony.
She talked about partnerships, and she talked about how institutions need to do what they need to do. And one of the things I've been concerned about is Detroit doing what it needs to do to make sure that we are not only training greatness, but keeping that greatness here. You are one of our greats. You are doing all kinds of things. So I'm going to ask you the hard question. What's next, and does it involve Detroit?
Absolutely. So my passion is music. I am a Emmy Award winning artist from Detroit, singer, songwriter, and music producer. And I plan on pursuing my craft and pursuing my dream and going on to college. My top 3 colleges are Juilliard, Berklee College of Music, and Manhattan School of Music. And of course, that requires me leaving Detroit. But ultimately, my main goal is to come back to Detroit and contribute back to my community, simply because without anybody in my community, without any support system, I can't do it by myself.
And one of the things that we thought a lot about during the pandemic was, how do we continue to support, but deepen that support of institutions and issues that are important to Detroit. And one of those was the importance of arts and the importance of supporting young people. And so that's really how we made the decision to support this work, and the intersection between young people and the arts and how they reflect what is currently underway in community, but they also represent the future potential of community. And so we couldn't think of a better way during the pandemic than to support this particular project.
So I'm so excited. Juilliard, Berkeley, Manhattan. I mean, all of this is amazing. But the fact that you would do all of that and come back is thrilling for me.
It takes a village. And without my village, I would not be where I am today. And I will not be where I want to be, where I want to continue to be, where my path will lead me. So that is why I want to contribute back to Detroit. You know, I want to bounce back and forth to different places where opportunities lie, but I also want to make opportunities for Detroit.
Arts and culture and supporting our young people, in many ways, that's the tree trunk, that's the roots of this city. And so what you're doing in ACE to foster, teach, develop, and hopefully strengthen those roots is so important. We believe that the work that you're doing in the ACE, and particularly with the Duets project, allows for an opportunity for young people to not only elevate their talent, but also see how their talent matters to Detroiters and matters to the future of this city in a way that hopefully will have them think about staying here, continuing to deepen their roots, and grow their talent and opportunity.
Now, here's my question. You talked about this village. Tell me about some of the people in the village.
Absolutely. So some of the people in the village, like yourself or like my parents and my family, they support me so much. And it's like they congratulate me all the time, but they also tell me my flaws. They also tell me what I need to work on and how I can improve as a person, you know, because growth is very important and, you know, wisdom is very important, but it takes a person to be a leader, right? And that's what my village instills in me. That's what I'm learning from the people that surround me to be a leader. And I feel like that's what I was born to be. That was my purpose, to lead in any form or fashion, whether it's music, whether it's public speaking, you know, I have to lead, you know, and that's what my village instills in me. My parents, those who give me opportunities such as duets and things of that nature. So that's what I have to say about that question.
Fantastic. I do want us to hear once more from Wendy Lewis Jackson, who, again, we could not have done this project without Kresge, which has been just like this bulwark for arts and culture, for my office, for this community, for the projects that you're in. So we're going to have a final word from Wendy Lewis Jackson about this project and our mission.
So again, we want to thank you, Rochelle, as well as the ACE office for this important collaboration. And we also want to express our gratitude and thank you to the young people and the Detroit Symphony Orchestra for this important collaboration and partnership. It really reflects not only the potential of our community, but the importance of arts and culture to the city of Detroit.
Thank you, King.
No, thank you.
And now, Duets. Since 2020, the world has focused on how the COVID-19 pandemic affected society, workers, health professionals. But for a moment, let's focus on the children. Children who were just as traumatized or more than adults. Detroit ACE and the Kresge Foundation gave young poets a chance to speak, a chance to breathe. We asked poets in the renowned InsideOut literary arts program to mentor students in the Detroit Public Schools Community District, so they could join Detroit Symphony Orchestra musicians to express their pain, their hopes, their thoughts, to take a moment to deal with their feelings, to be free to say what they wanted. And they did, proudly, passionately, boldly. We knew they could. They worked in tandem to create something special for us all.
like, sir, don't you see I'm trying to rest? Don't save me from nightmares when I'm hoping on dreams. I'm not those damsels in distress you always seem to gravitate towards. So, Mr. Supermarket, I don't need to be saved. It's day 55 now of quarantine. My bed's become my school desk, the kitchen's the cafeteria. Zoom calls are now school halls, the only places I can see the faces of my friends. 11 o'clock's now my first bell. Funny, I'd usually be in math right now, and no more passing times, now we're just passing time, scrolling through TikToks and Instagram. Our front yards and back ones have become playgrounds. I went to recess for the first time. I haven't done that in years. And no more bus rides home. I always hated those. But now I'm stuck at home. I kind of miss them. Secret routes from class to class are now dissolving in my memory. I tried to save, but files corrupt. School's online now. No need to remember. No more counting down the days to summer break, the sun shining brighter, and the days going faster. Looked outside and winter's melted into spring. Fresh air is being filtered through this new trend, face mask. But that was then, and this is now. Nothing's changed but time and perspective. It's day. Honestly, I lost count. We're still trying to find this new normal. But this isn't online school, it's school online. I don't think folks understand how much harder this is. I float from the kitchen to the basement and then back to my room. There's no more excitement to school, it's just silence. My Wi-Fi drops more than a beat on a rap song, mais c'est la vie, tout doux vivre. At least I'm still doing good in French. We spend hours on end talking to a computer screen, then hours on end staring at our phone. School, homework, and free time, we get more blue light than sun. Car rides to the grocery store feel like field trips, an escape from these walls boxing me in. But I won't complain, because I like the freedom. The chance to sculpt my life as I wish. My stress hasn't dissipated, but I think I handle it better. There's more time to get to know me. I'm hypnotized by life itself now. I'm living in this school days.
The pressure to always perform, to never falter, and to always be a model. It hides me when I break down and when I can't handle the pressure, when I can't reach my own expectations. My home is generational. It has been renovated with each person born. The sky, it hangs overhead, a perfectly painted ceiling. It shifts from illuminating the green meadows below to accentuating those who hide and stalk in the dark. The forest, it shelters and provides to all that reside. The oak trees cover the little children as they run through the grass. Fruit trees bow their heads to allow the children to eat whenever they are hungry. The sun, she watches over the forest and all of its residents. All of those she watches over are her children, and she loves all of them dearly. Her love envelops them like a warm robe, weaved from sunlight and morning dew. Each child is given this robe as it is one of the many gifts of the forest. The moon, he watches over all that sleep in the forest. The children call him Father as he sings them lullabies each night. His songs carried on moonlight and cool breezes that wash over everyone like an ocean tide. Even though his love isn't as warm as the sun's, he makes sure that the children of the forest have calm and sweet dreams. I am a child. I was born from the earth, my skin just as dark and just as rich as the soil beneath my feet. Even if blood does not tie us, everyone in the forest is family. My mother, the sun, my father, the moon. My brothers, the sky, and my sisters are the trees. They watch as I dance about in my oasis. Each dewdrop, a beat, each chirp, a rhythm, and each breeze, a movement. I dance throughout the day to the rhythm of the forest. It fills me like an ocean, a tidal wave that floods and drowns. It washes over me and cradles my body in cool melodies and memories. In the forest lies an oasis where the sun embraces you in a glistening robe of light, where the moon sings you to sleep with a song as beautiful as the night sky, where the forest cradles and holds those who reside. In the oasis, you can be a child, one who is cared for forevermore.
In ninth grade, I am uncomfortable in gym. Comfortable with liking pink, but not with the man who tells me to sit and wait for class to end while the boys sweat and play on the court below. Not with those boys who always see me as this fragile, incapable being. And with this constant discomfort, I am exhausted. My heart is exhausted. For all girls not sure how to act, not wanting to act, the ones simply existing who can't help but be confused and misunderstood. I am exhausted. Still, I am me. My face still looks like mine when I glance in the mirror, but I recognize the slight frown that is now imprinted in my skin. I see tired eyes shot through with veins. I see red, bright red, behind my eyelids, shapes form naturally in the crimson abyss. A sigh shakes itself from my lungs. Anxiety flows out and around my being. I hope they remember me, that they recognize my heart, soft and thumping, even as it lays before a world ready to crush it. I tap my feet to its thumping, they dance against the ground, and I allow myself to forget. Forget the boot that hangs over me, ever threatening, causing me to shake whenever I catch a glimpse of its metal heel shining under the stark white LEDs. I hope they recognize my skin, my body, which I have scratched and pinched under the slightest pressure, which I have squeezed till my feet cramped, then watched as I told my toes to move, though they didn't. Listen, I hope they recognize that I want something more than this, even while swallowed in their own thoughts, like pools of dark, muddy liquid, slightly thicker than water, plants growing through the cracks in the pool tiles, green and reaching up towards the sun, which they long to be closer with, which they long to be loved by, even as the sun barely takes the time to glance their way. I do exist, a small someone, mostly unnoticed as I should be, a single piece of grass in a field taking its time to sway with the wind before it's sliced away by a lawnmower or plucked by the finger of a child. I do have dreams, though minuscule in your view of things, though I can't barely manage to do anything these days except clean and clean until everything seems okay. Though I can't help but remember how they left, one by one, off to the promised land without me. Though I always look back, one more time, never trusting even myself. I want so much. I want the beautiful night sky, untouched by pollution, to hold it gently in my palm and be able to gaze at the stars forever. But in this moment, the stars are few. My body is lonely, hollow. Hunger scratches at my stomach, so it feels satisfied and itchy at the same time. I want to scream till it's all gone. My cheeks will turn dry and salty with the tears I wish to cry but can't seem to. I want it all. I want dessert. And then I want none of it.
Posted on Snap, read essays typed on Facebook, see pictures uploaded to Instagram. The aftertaste of dark chocolate and cranberries creep up my throat when I think of my least favorite holiday.
Maybe you're right. You may never know your name again, or it won't feel like yours. And you'll cry harder than when his name didn't fit your mouth anymore, when it tasted strange, and you'll feel ghost, phantom. It'll sound like someone else, someone you swear you knew, someone you thought knew you back. And you'll cry, drown in your confusion, in your loss, and you'll keep crying. You don't know how to swim back to your name, how to coat your tongue with it. You taste salt, sour, a feeling to spit from the back of your throat, and you'll hope to cough up something, anything, to bring you closer to owning your name again.
I was only digging for help. As I caressed this seed, I was wondering why it was still a seed. I spoke too soon. It emerged from its shell as I held it, but why not when it was in the ground?
At the age of 3, about to turn 4, I lost my favorite pillow. Its feathers will poke me hard enough to see reality a little more every day. So instead of looking for it, I considered to digest shame and leave it where it was. I entered the age of 6, my first day at a new school, and found a friend. Then lost him at 9. At 10, I lost a promise, and at the same time, tried not to keep in mind the girl who introduced my heart to a plane crash. When the clock strikes 12, it would be my 11th birthday, and like a car engine that forgot how to start, I forgot how to start a conversation with my great-grandma, and lost her that same year. I can't say if only I had more time, because I had time, all the time in the world, to at least ask what her childhood was like. I lost so much in my life, I wonder how much of what I once had still remains. And wait, I even lost my train of thought. Thank you.
Programs like InsideOut sensitize youngsters to what's happening around them and helps build a level of compassion and confidence in them that I think other programs just don't come close to. As funding cycles change, as funding priorities shift, we should always be ready to invest in our young people.
What can we do to respond to where are the youth in Detroit? Where are they going to school? How are they interacting with their world? What do they want? How can we prepare them for the shifts that are happening in Detroit right now? We will continue to be a player in the community because we are always responding to the young people and they're the future.